again for organizing this session, which was very, very important and need of the hour. And you have brought in so many, personalities who are so renowned in their own field here for a panel discussion and to discuss on the career roadmap for the next generation. And I was told by somebody, the career for the next generation is still not known. It is not existing at the moment. So I'm looking forward for these speakers to enlighten the participants here. What is the future for our children? Because the children, when they join our school, for 15 years, they're under us and we're teaching for 15 years for them, and they join the colleges. So whatever learning they do in these 15 years, is it going to be helpful for them in their future career growth? Or is something needs to be done at the school level for us as teachers to change our teaching strategies, or to change our style of dealing with that? Even NEP speaks about skill education in school. They speak about industry exposure while they're in schools, things like that.
Daddy,
so I'm looking forward for the speakers.
You said you will study.
Thank you so much, Pranav, once again. And over to you.
Mishra to start with the topic, I think as he has to leave at 3:20. Sir.
Yes, Pranav. Thank you. Thank you. I think one of the most difficult things is to become a future teller. I really can't say that I'm a Jyotishi and I can predict exactly what's going to happen. But I feel that the transformation is so large at this time that probably if everybody can shoot the arrows in the dark and hope that it lands up somewhere. But what I'll do is to try to give you a thought process which can help us in understanding where we may go. See, no matter what happens, there's one thing that is very, very clear, that the future is going to be dependent on science and technology. And that's very, very clear. These are two areas that can never decline, right? At least in the foreseeable future, because everything else, all other types of jobs are going to be very, very heavily dependent on science and technology. So science and technology will be the drivers of new jobs, right? Now, its application is going to exist in every place. So if we begin to see what is it that human beings cannot live with? Well, we need food and shelter is required. There is no doubt about it. So will agriculture grow? Yes, I think agriculture will have to grow. There is no other option. We need to survive, right? But the kind of jobs that we think when we think about agriculture, we only talk about how many percent of people are dependent on agriculture. So we say, okay, 60% of our people are dependent on agriculture. Well, I think we need to go beyond that thought process now, because we are talking about jobs in areas like food processing, mechanization, reducing the use of chemicals, fertilizers, and creating new kind of systems. So I think let's talk about jobs not only in pure agriculture, but agriculture-related areas, or businesses or companies that are dependent on the growth of agriculture. We should be looking at those also. So I find that there's going to be tremendous growth. There will 100% there will be growth in the areas of health and chemicals. Those are areas that will certainly grow, because that's an area that we, at this point, have actually got the shot. We never expected that something in the area of health can happen so big that can actually change the whole world and how we look at it. So obviously we are looking at new forms of businesses that may emerge in this. So I think health and health related, we will see lot of growth. Chemicals, we will see lot of growth. And in technology, you have so many things. But I think what will also happen is not only that there will be new jobs, the nature of jobs will change. the characteristics of jobs begins to change. What are the kind of skills that will be required for those jobs are going to differ, right? It's very difficult to predict what will be the size of the laptop in the future. You know, we already can do everything that we can do on a laptop, on a mobile phone. Okay. Is it going to shrink further? Well, it may shrink, but you know, it is also possible that you could have a laptop just in your watch, and you can project it on any place, like a table or a wall or anywhere, and you can make the screen bigger, right? So, I think the most important thing for us as educators is begin to speculate the kind of skills that will be required for the type of jobs that will be created, because it is these universities, schools, and educational institutions that will have to actually begin to start thinking of those skills and start bringing those skills into their curriculum. So my suggestion at this point is that it's not a one-shot process. I think the new job markets or new type of jobs or new type of skills, we will go through an evolutionary process. And every year we will learn more. Remember that it is much easier for us to project what will happen 2 years from today than to project what will happen 20 years from today. But if we are able to get some idea that this is what is likely to happen in 2 years or 3 years, and we work towards that, as we come closer to the 2 years or 3 years, we will be able to see further, right? So it's very, very similar to this process is like a mirage in a desert. You feel that there is water and you keep going towards the water. But when you reach closer to that place, you still see water, but it is a little further away. So I think we will have to go through that kind of an evolutionary process that we keep doing for 2-3 years, make the adjustment, then you will be able to see better for the next 2-3 years and bring about more changes. So I think in that way, we don't have to worry about what kind of jobs will be created in 2040. Let's worry right now up to 2025. That may be much easier for us to predict or much easier for us to reach that kind of a target. But keep revising your thought process in 2 years, 3 years, which will give us a little more perspective and give us some idea of new kind of job. So I think that's the process that we can adopt, which can help us all in bridging any gap that will exist in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Mishra. Now, before I come to Mr. G.C. Chaudhary, I would request the visionary Chancellor of Shobhit University, Dr. Shekhar Vijayendra. As Professor Mishra just said, agriculture will be one of the most important economy. And I think Chancellor Saab in Shobhit University has already started a course on agriculture. So, sir, if we can have your views on agriculture, careers in agriculture and on knowledge-based economies.
Thank you, Pranav. And as Professor Mishra has mentioned, one, that no one of us is an astrologer. We cannot say what type of jobs will be there. The world is changing very fast. Industry 4.0, now education 4.0, now the pandemic. So much disruption had been there that every day something new is happening. And I'm happy that with this multidisciplinary environment, technology, health, and agriculture, these three sectors are going to be the future. They had been the future earlier also, but now major focus will be there. If I look at agriculture had always been in focus, but our schools, because we have some representatives from schools also. And one question I always ask anybody who meets me from school sector, that do you have agriculture in your school? Do you teach agriculture? When I was a student in my school, we used to go for agriculture experiments. हम खेती भी करते थे, हमें ले जाया जाता था वहाँ. So those were the times. Now what will happen with agriculture? Agriculture is one that what we think, if you cannot do anything, you become a farmer. Second, agriculture is modern technologies. Like in Shobhit University, as you have just mentioned, we have started a center for agri-informatics and e-governance, which is one such center in the country. And we are working on a BTech program, BTech in agriculture informatics and MTech in agriculture informatics, which have been supported by NIC, supported by the government of India and all other bodies. You know what is required? Latest technology and agriculture, they have to come together, and there the future lies. Agroforesters will be required when we talk about environment. We will require organic farmers. We will require so many things are there, drone technologies, this, that, GIS systems, lot many things have to come there. If you ask me what are the 10, what will be the future path for the youth, I was asking my son. He completed his first year in the university. He is in UC Davis. So nowadays he's here. I asked him, okay, what are the future 10 things? He said, if you will ask me, I do not know. And even if a student is not knowing what will be the future, the main thing is that what we have to give them. We have to give them a fluid skill mindset. What is happening generally, we are giving a skill set to them. I'm telling, don't give them a skill, develop a fluid skill mindset for them. So that whatever situation comes, whatever new things are coming, they must be able to adopt it, learn from it, and do something. Because even if we are talking about after 10 years, what will happen? After 15 years, something new will happen. After 20 years, again, it will change. So that mindset has to be developed. And this is a wonderful panel today because I am saying that it is schools are there. I can see Chaudhary Sahab there. Chaudhary Sahab का बहुत बड़ा contribution है बच्चों की aspirations को reality में बदलने में. तो बहुत सारी चीजें जहाँ हो रही हैं इन्हें लेके साथ चलना है और सबसे important जो मैं दोबारा से कहता हूँ बच्चों को हमें डेवलप करना है कि वो जो भी आए उस एडेप्टेबिलिटी के साथ जाए. तो हमेशा मैं वो एक 6C की बात करता हूँ, आप कहें तो मैं अभी उसे बोल भी देता हूँ. अक्सर मैं बात करता हूँ कि 6C बच्चों में डेवलप करने हैं, क्यूरियोसिटी, करेज, कंपैशन, कमिटमेंट, कोलैबोरेशन एंड कामनेस. और यदि ये 6C हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स में डेवलप कर लेंगे, whatever opportunities will come, they will adopt it, they will learn, and they will take it. So this is my take for this moment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chancellor, Shobhit University. Now I would request a person who started his career as a teacher and his reason behind so many doctors and engineers in our country. And I would request Mr. J.C. Chaudhary to speak on the topic. And sir has started with a very modest beginning. And now I think he must be teaching roughly 2.5 lakh students at any point of time. Welcome, Mr. Chaudhary. Sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
First two speakers ने ये कहा कि मैं कोई एस्ट्रोलॉजर या ज्योतिषी नहीं हूँ. मैं कहता हूँ मैं न्यूमरोलॉजिस्ट हूँ और फ्यूचर ही बताता हूँ. This is additional qualification I have. I can predict the things in the coming times. जो इस टाइम सिचुएशन हो रही है कोविड की वजह से वो बहुत ही एक कंफ्यूजिंग सिचुएशन है कि आगे आने वाले टाइम में क्या होगा. गेसवर्क किए जा रहे हैं, लेकिन मेरा ये मानना है कि मान लीजिए हम किसी थिएटर के अंदर मूवी जाते हैं देखने के लिए और उसको देखने के बाद हमारा मूड खराब हो जाता है, हम कहते हैं पिक्चर अच्छी नहीं बनी. तो जो प्रोड्यूसर था जिसने पिक्चर बनाई, डायरेक्टर था, उसने इसका मतलब हमारे दिमाग को, हमारे शौक को ध्यान में नहीं रखा और पिक्चर बनानी थी बना दी. तो ये वन वे ट्रैफिक हो गया. वो खुश हो गया हम खुश नहीं हुए। इसी तरह से ऑनलाइन पढ़ाने से भी हम सोच रहे हैं कि बच्चा खुश हो गया, लेकिन वास्तव में क्या वो खुश हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है, ये देखने वाला पॉइंट है। और टीचर भी कितने टाइम तक ऑनलाइन पढ़ाता रहेगा, एक समय ऐसा आएगा वो भी बोर हो जाएगा। एक लिमिट है ऑनलाइन पढ़ाने की, फिर उसका इंटरेस्ट भी खत्म हो जाएगा। तो बेस्ट तरीका ये होता है कि ऐसा सिस्टम डेवलप हो जिसमें कुछ टाइम बच्चे के साथ ऑनलाइन में इंटरेक्शन हो और कुछ टाइम ऑफलाइन के हो। ये हाइब्रिड मॉडल जब बनेगा तो वो कुछ ना कुछ राहत हमें दे सकता है डेफिनेटली। उसमें बच्चे की जो डाउट्स होते हैं क्लासेस, वो हमने ऑफलाइन में लगा दी। बच्चे के टेस्ट होते हैं वो ऑफलाइन लगा दिए। इम्पॉर्टेंट कंसेप्ट जो होते हैं डिफिकल्ट, वो ऑफलाइन कर दिए। बाकी सारा कुछ ऑनलाइन कर दिया। तो बच्चे को दोनों तरह का एक्सपीरियंस हो जाता है। एक पीयर ग्रुप का, पढ़ाई के अलावा आपस में मिलना, एक कम्पिटिटिव एनवायरनमेंट देखना कि मेरे से ये ज़्यादा नंबर अच्छे क्यों ले जा रहा है, मैं इससे आगे जाऊंगा। टीचर का मोटिवेट करना, उनकी पीठ पे हाथ लगाना, बेटा तूने बहुत अच्छा किया है। तो ऑनलाइन में ये सारी चीज़ें गायब हैं। तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी है, पढ़ाई करने से ज़्यादा बच्चे में स्पार्क पैदा करना, मोटिवेट करना। टीचर का ये प्राइमरी रोल है। पढ़ना बच्चे ने है, सारी मेहनत उसी ने करनी, टीचर ने तो कुछ करना ही नहीं है। टीचर ने सिर्फ उसको गाइड करना है। ही कैन ओनली टेक द हॉर्सेस टू द रिवर बट कैन नॉट पुट द वाटर इन हिज माउथ, दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल। तो वो तो बच्चे ने ही पीना है जो पीना है, टीचर तो उसको रास्ता दिखा सकता है, गाइड कर सकता है। तो हमारे यहाँ पर जो यूनिवर्सिटीज़ की भी डिग्रियाँ मिल रही हैं, ये मिलेगी। और खाली एक ऑनलाइन सर्टिफिकेट लेके आदमी घूमता रहे और उसको नॉलेज ना हो और उसको सब्जेक्ट का पता ना हो, उसकी नॉलेज जो है वो इंडस्ट्री के साथ कंपेटेबल नहीं है, उसको कहीं जॉब नहीं मिलती है, वो ठीक नहीं है। अभी हम 6ठी क्लास से 7वीं क्लास से 8वीं क्लास से वोकेशनल कोर्स शुरू कर देंगे। तो ये जो नई एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है, वोकेशनल कोर्स को इतनी जल्दी स्टेज पे ले आ रहे हैं। पूरी एजुकेशन पॉलिसी मुझे सबसे अच्छी चीज़ ये लगी है। 6th क्लास के अंदर बच्चे का बिल्कुल रॉ होता है, माइंड बड़ा शार्प होता है, हर चीज़ जल्दी सीखता है, फास्ट सीखता है। तो डिफरेंट टाइप के जो वोकेशनल कोर्सेज हैं, चाहे वो प्लम्बर का है, फिटर का है, इलेक्ट्रीशियन का है, ये 3 साल के अंदर बच्चा अपने रोजी कमाने लायक हो सकता है, अपने दुकान खोलने लायक होता है, अपना बिजनेस करने लायक हो सकता है। और कंट्री से एक्सपोर्ट करके हम इस तरह के टैलेंट को बाहर भेज सकते हैं। तो लाखों करोड़ों की तादाद में हमारे पास बच्चे 6ठी 7वीं 8वीं होंगे। अगर उनको टैलेंट दे दिया गया कि भाई हाथ से काम करना अच्छी बात है, कोई किसी काम में शर्म नहीं है, कोई काम छोटा नहीं, कोई काम बड़ा नहीं। क्योंकि इतने बड़े अगर एम्पायर बनने हैं, इतनी बड़ी बिल्डिंगें बननी है, तो उनके बनाने के लिए लोअर स्टेटा के लोग भी चाहिए, यही लोग भी चाहिए, इनके बिना बिल्डिंग नहीं बन सकती। तो हमें इस वोकेशनल एजुकेशन के साथ जो हमारे इंडस्ट्रीज हैं, वो लोग भी हमारे सिलेबस को देखें और वो गाइड करें कि हमारी इंडस्ट्री में इस तरह के फोर्स के लोग हैं और उस तरह का करिकुलम 6ठी 7वीं 8वीं में लगा दिया जाए। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से कर सकते हैं। तो इंडस्ट्री का एक पार्टनरशिप स्कूल के साथ होना, 6ठी 7वीं 8वीं क्लास से होना, उनके रिक्वायरमेंट देना, सिलेबस को वैसा बनाना ताकि जो आदमी काम कर रहा है प्रैक्टिकली काम आए। आज हम बीटेक लड़का करके आ जाता है, एमटेक करके आता है, शूज लगाना नहीं आता। तो ऐसी डिग्री का फ़ायदा कुछ नहीं है। तो हमारी प्रैक्टिकल अप्रोच लाइफ में बढ़नी चाहिए, जिससे कि हमारे बच्चों को वास्तव में हाथ से काम करना है और प्राउड फील करें। आपने प्लग पाना लगाया और कहीं पे काम करने शुरू कर दिया, रोड पे बैठ जाए तो भी 2 पैसे कमा लेगा। आज हम एमएससी करने के बाद हमें पता नहीं होता, नौकरी पे डिपेंडेंट है। हमें नौकरी पे डिपेंड होना ही नहीं चाहिए, मैं इसकी फेवर में बिल्कुल नहीं हूँ। हम ऐसे लड़के तैयार करें जो खुद नौकरी क्रिएट करें। एक आदमी 4 को एम्प्लॉयमेंट दे, एक आदमी और आगे बढ़ सकता है। तो those are the things which I feel should be there. We should not depend upon the government कि गवर्नमेंट जॉब प्रोवाइड करेगी। हम लोग सारे 6ठी 7वीं 8वीं से ये माइंड सेट रखें कि जैसे हम थोड़े बड़े होंगे, हम 4 आदमी को नौकरी देंगे, 10 को नौकरी देंगे, 20 को नौकरी देंगे, फैक्ट्री लगाऊंगा, मैं ये लगाऊंगा। तो ये डिपेंड करता है किस तरीके से हम जो है बच्चों को ट्रेंड करते हैं और उसी तरह का भारत जैसे हम देखना चाहते हैं देख सकते हैं। बाकी जैसे ये 2020 से लेके 2029 तक आप देखेंगे कि पूरे 9 साल 10 साल के अंदर 2 का नंबर 2 बार कम से कम रिपीटेड है। और 2 नंबर मून का होता है, ये वेवरिंग और सॉफ्ट होता है, इमोशनल होता है। और 2022 में 3 2 हो जाएंगे। तो इतना ज़्यादा इमोशनल होगा उस टाइम पे आपसे संभाला भी नहीं जाना है। तो इसलिए हमें देखना चाहिए कि 9 साल हमारे बड़े स्ट्रगलफुल हैं, खासतौर से बच्चों के लिए सेंटिमेंटल होंगे, इमोशनल होंगे, कहीं ना कहीं एक तरह से फील होगा मैं खुश नहीं हूँ। तो इसलिए हमारी प्लानिंग बहुत अच्छी होनी चाहिए ताकि इनको स्ट्रॉन्ग बना सकें, जानते हुए कि ज़्यादा नंबर 10 साल में 2 नंबर रिपीट हो रहा है और 2 नंबर हमेशा इंसान को इमोशनल वीक बनाता है। तो दैट इज़ हाउ वी फाइंड कि हमारे न्यूमरोलॉजी का भी इसमें रोल रहेगा डेफिनेटली, कि हम क्या प्रिकॉशन ले सकते हैं एडवांस में ताकि आगे के लिए हमारे लिए परेशानी ना हो। सो दिस इज ऑल व्हाट आई वांटेड टू शेयर। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you so much, Mr. Chaudhary. I'm sure all teachers must be quite inspired by you. And we also welcome Mr. Atish Chattopadhyay Saab, Dr. Atish Chattopadhyay. He's the Vice Chancellor of Vijay Bhumi University, Karjat, Mumbai. Now I would request Madam Deepa Sridhar to just give her views on the topic. Welcome, ma'am. She's the head of Kumran Institutions, Bangalore. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. It's nice to be here discussing about a career roadmap for the next generation. Frankly speaking, I don't think we sitting here can discuss or decide about what careers will open up in the next 10 years or 20 years. Because, I mean, as we have seen, we've all been in the field of education for the last so many years, and we are surprised and even stumped at times at the kind of careers that open up for our children. But looking at what, I mean, as far as I've understood is that this discussion is also aligned with the NEP. I think what we really need to understand is that, children have to learn on their own, and they have to move away from rote learning, and children have to learn how to learn, because only if they know that can they also be able to develop their own skill sets, which I think will be useful in the years to come. And also, if you look at today's school education, it's it's put into watertight compartments. Children want to study only physics and chemistry and not look at the social sciences, or not looking at the languages. But I think as a school educator, I think we need to make the children understand that knowledge is interdisciplinary and they are not into watertight compartments. And we cannot teach subjects which are mutually exclusive, but we also have to make the children, we also have to make the teachers understand that all subjects are inclusive and they are interdependent on each other. And I think moving forward, the last couple of speakers have always said this, and I think we have to gear up children not for knowledge acquisition. I mean, that is, yes, one important aspect of it, but that's not the only thing. I think children have to be made to develop, they have to develop their critical thinking, they have to develop their problem solving, they have to be creative, they have to be innovative. And only when they are creative and innovative can we have entrepreneurs of the next generation, as Mr. Chaudhary Saab said. And I think they also have to collaborate with each other, because teamwork is something that is already here and it's going to, get into our skill sets even further. And more than anything else, children have to be flexible and adaptable. And as Manila said, I don't know whether we know what kind of careers are going to open up in the next 10 years or even 5 years for that matter, because when we see children coming back to us and telling us that they are in this kind of a career or they're in this kind of a profession, we would have never thought that, these kind of professions would open up. So I think we have to make our children open-minded learners, and that is the need of the hour, especially for a country like India, where we have one of the youngest populations.
Great. We have got 2 comments also. Ruchika Saraf told Mr. J.C. Chaudhary, very well said, sir. And Ms. Vijay Lakshmi sent a message, good noon, sir. I do agree with both eminent speakers, but it is also dependent on the mindset of parents too. We still look low on people doing skill sets like plumbing. So Chancellor Kumar sir, can you speak on this?
Actually, what happened in the society when we talk about the mindset of the parents. So some aspirations and pressures we took from the society, and this is what is happening. Like our boys and girls, what they have: peer pressure, parents pressure, social pressure. And we wish to see that my child should be either an engineer or a doctor or maybe a scientist today, not a plumber. Because we have created a perception that a plumber means what? But we forgot that a plumber can be the best furniture designer, or can be a carpenter, or the best sanitary designer can be a plumber. Okay. So now it depends that what and how we look into these things. And what is the solution for that? I believe the solution is that we have to ask our children that what they want to do. You will be surprised that even if they want to be an engineer, they want to learn music. Even if they are going to become a doctor, maybe they want to become a painter also.
Correct.
But they never told. And it ends up in either frustrations or they do job throughout life, but they do not live their life. It has to be changed. Our new education policy, if I look at, Mr. Chaudhary was mentioning about that. Earlier, what we were doing, we were working on developing human resource. The complete new education policy, even the ministry's name was Human Resource Development. So the purpose of complete education was to develop human resource. It was not to learn something new, to become a good human being. I always believe in that thing, that if our boys and girls, they are given an opportunity to be what they are, they can perform better. Honorable Prime Minister is talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat. अब होता क्या है, जब IIM का एक स्टूडेंट चाय की दुकान खोलता है और उसे कहते हैं द चाय, और वो एक चेन बना देता है पूरे देश में, तो we say wow, what a startup. But if my child will say I will start a tea stall initially, so maybe I will say no, you cannot do it. You know, that perception has been created. It has to be changed. If you look at a maximum of the startups, what they are doing basic things which initially we will not like our children to do. Supply of food, chai, coffee shops, somebody is having a chain of dosa, somebody is doing book supply. If you look at that, perception has to be changed. And that perception, to change that perception, parents have to come naturally ahead. And the schools and the universities, they also have to play that role. That rat race has to be stopped.
Great. I think very good thought. Very nicely you, sir, interpreted it. Chaudhary Saab, as you are a science teacher, majority of the inventions done by people like Newton, Pythagoras, or Archimedes, they all were craftsmen. They used to work with their hands. So how did this thing change? Now we don't do anything. Science today don't do anything with their hands. They study and write in their examination. What is the reason behind it? How did it got vanished?
In fact, क्या है कि mostly जो discoveries हुई हैं by chance हुई हैं, accidental. Planned नहीं थी, accidental हुई हैं. लेकिन वो उनमें वो skill था कि वो उस accidental discovery को identify कर पाए. हम पहले कहते थे जब BSc में पढ़ते थे, तो अगर मान लो कोई केमिस्ट्री का चैप्टर पढ़ा है अल्कोहल का, फिनोल का, तो लाइब्रेरी में जाके चैप्टर को लिखना शुरू कर देते, इंट्रोडक्शन से लेकर एंड तक. 1 रिम दस्ता पेपर, 2 रिम पेपर, 3 रिम पेपर डेली भरते थे, लिख के. अब लिखने की आदत छूट गई है. लिखने की आदत बिना एजुकेशन अधूरी है. लिखना मस्ट है. एक तो हैंड राइटिंग अच्छा बनता है, और चीजें पक्की तरह से याद हो जाती है, माइंड में वो इम्प्रिंट हो जाती है. खाली हम सुनते रहें तो दिमाग में प्रिंट नहीं होती है. तो लिखना जो है, दैट इज डेफिनेटली वेरी वेरी एसेंशियल. दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस. राइटिंग वर्ड होना चाहिए, रीडिंग भी होना चाहिए. आज क्या है, कंप्यूटर के द्वारा पढ़ा रहे हैं, लर्न करा रहे हैं. सिर्फ लर्न करो, ये लर्न करो, ये ना दे आर ओपनिंग द बुक्स, ना दे आर एनीथिंग. तो एजुकेशन विदाउट properly reading the things and without writing, it is incomplete. और बच्चे बाहर के मुल्कों में क्या होता है, उनको कम से कम रोटी की चिंता नहीं होती, वो एश्योर्ड होती है, उनकी रोटी तो मिल ही जाएगी, तो अपनी लाइफ वो उधर लगा देते हैं. हमारे यहाँ क्या है कि मेजोरिटी ऑफ द लोगों के अंदर पहली प्रॉब्लम होती है कि रोटी का इंतजाम किया जाए. घर सिक्योर किया जाए, ये किया, इसी में उसकी यूथ तो उसी में निकल जाती है। तो बाकी उसके पास टाइम ही नहीं बचता कि सोचे किसी और चीज के बारे में। तो हमें जब तक वो उस लाइन पे हर आदमी हिंदुस्तान का क्रॉस नहीं करता जहाँ उसको रोटी की चिंता ना रहे, रहने की चिंता ना रहे, फिर ये देश में पोटेंशियल की कहीं कमी नहीं है। पोटेंशियल बहुत है, ना तो रिकॉग्नाइज किया जाता है, ना अप्रिशिएट किया जाता है, और वो बेचारा इतने भीड़ में अंदर खो जाता है और अपनी लाइफ कंप्लीट करके चला जाता है। उनके इंसेंटिव दिए जाएं, उनको इनिशिएटिव दिए जाएं, उनको रिकॉग्नाइज किया जाए, अप्रिशिएट किया जाए। और टीचर जो हैं वो जब तक वो फायर बच्चों के अंदर नहीं डाल सकते, वो टीचर ही नहीं है। टीचर टॉपिक खत्म करा कह रहा हो तो बच्चों को बेकार करता है। टीचर का रोल है कि बच्चों के अंदर एक आग पैदा करे, हंगर पैदा करे, और उनको बताए कि मोटिवेट करके कि हर तुम जहाँ भी हो, प्लम्बर हो, इलेक्ट्रीशियन हो, वट एवर यू आर, एक चीज सिर्फ दिमाग में रखें कि मेरे जैसा इस पृथ्वी पर कोई नहीं है। आई एम अद्भुत और मैं सब कुछ कर सकता हूँ। एक बार आप अद्भुत बन गए और लाइन के अंदर खड़े हो गए तो डेफिनेटली आप किसी जगह पर अपना नाम कमा सकते हैं। हर आदमी अपना नाम कमा सकता है, प्रोवाइडेड उसके अंदर वो फायर हो और वो अद्भुत काम करने की इच्छा रखता हो। तो इच्छा शक्ति होनी बहुत ज़रूरी है किसी काम को सीखने के लिए। अगर वो नहीं है और हम फोर्स करते जा रहे हैं कि आप रट लीजिए इम्तिहान के लिए, तो ना वो रट पाएगा, ना इम्तिहान में याद कर पाएगा, ना प्रैक्टिकली यूज कर पाएगा।
Very nicely said. Very nicely said. Now I request Dr. Chattopadhyay, Dr. Atish Chattopadhyay, Vice Chancellor Vijayabhumi University, Karjat, Mumbai, and Director IFIM Business School, Bangalore, to speak on the subject, sir.
First of all, thank you so much, and also my namaskar to Chaudhary Saab, because my son is studying in AIMS and he was also part of Akash. So
thank you, sir.
He deserves a thanks. I never met you personally, but virtually I am thanking you. Okay.
Thank you.
So two things. I think the whole issue of vocational training, the issue of how it got changed in between, all these things have been discussed. I think the most important part is that we have to respect work that is done by hand. Best example is when a medical doctor does work by hand, nobody questions it. Correct.
Correct.
Now, why we question some other profession if that work is done by hand? And to my mind, we need to respect the work which is done by hand. And only I think 2 days back, I was in a similar webinar with two very distinguished individuals. One is Professor Jagdish Sheth, who recently got the Padma Bhushan, and a very distinguished professor at Emory University, a guru in management. And purposefully, we got the dean of ESB in Germany, who also heads the Quality for European Foundation of Management Development, as part of the webinar where I was playing your role. I was in the conversation with them. One of the things why we wanted Germany to be a German dean to be there is the fundamental reason. I think as far as vocational training is concerned, the German model needs to be looked at. And later on, it is about South Korea. And the reason why I say this is, I am personally a person who has been trained vocationally because I'm a hospitality graduate. And a lot of people read my profile by saying that I started with a chain of bakery shops in Kolkata. Now, what does that, what it does to an individual, I can say that. What it does to an individual is, it, from the mind, it takes the insecurity away. So it's a different matter that I exited, I, came into academics, did my PhD, so and so, and that is a different issue. But the fact of the matter lies that all the time I am very confident, come what may, I can just get an oven, a mixer, and I can start with a shop and start myself. So I can do it with my hand. And I think anybody who has a capability to work with one's own hand will always have a different degree of confidence, which I think people who cannot do work with their own hand won't have. They will always look for a job. So fundamentally, this idea of vocational training needs to be understood both by the teachers and the parents, that it creates a lifelong security in the mind of that individual who is capable of working by hand. What that work by hand is, that is a different matter. Now, the second thing that I would say straight over here is, we need to evolve a model of education, because if we just say vocational training from class 6, the university education must also include vocational certification. And I'm glad to share that we in our university is introducing vocational certification programs across areas, which will be requirement for somebody to graduate. That is one. The second question regarding how the jobs are going to come, what are the kind of training required? To my mind, the purpose of education is not to groom our students or graduates for the purpose of a job. The idea will be to inculcate the basic proposition of learning to learn. So it does not matter what profession will be emerging. If a graduate of tomorrow is capable of learning on one's own, then whether the job is in AI or whether the job is in robotics or whether the job is in cooking, it won't matter. The person will be capable of learning whatever is required to remain employable. And anybody who is employable will be valued by the society. And it does not necessarily mean that the job has to be provided. See, we are talking about an education system where I think we should now talk about the next Bill Gates or a Steve Jobs or a Larry Page, and not the Sundar Pichais of the world. We need to have the Googles and Amazons and the Apples of the world coming from India, rather than our people becoming only the CEOs. We have to now make the shift from being a CEO to actually being the entrepreneur. And that, to my mind, can happen only when we inculcate this proposition of A, learning to learn, and B, capable of doing something with one's own hand. If you look at all these entrepreneurs, they knew something to do. It doesn't matter whether, Steve Jobs used to do calligraphy, but the important thing is he could do something with his own hand. And I think this is something which needs to be, brought in very consciously in our education, be it school education or higher education, that work with your hand and ability to learn. What courses, what subjects, that I don't think is important. Important thing is to have a perspective and ability to keep oneself upgraded, continuously to learn. Reason also is that we are looking at 100-year life for those who are graduating today. It will not be one career. So one has to continuously learn, and learning to learn will be the key attribute. And that is what the purpose of education is. I think the national education policy allows that or facilitates that shift to happen. And I would expect the educators, the teachers to take advantage of this policy and to make that shit happen within the country. That's my proposition.
Thank you so much. There is a question for Chancellor Shobit University, Kumar Shekhar Vijayendra. Sir, are you there?
Yes.
Sir, there is a question for you. Vijay Lakshmi is asking, sir, I do have a question on agriculture technology that sir was talking about. Would like to know how in India, where land is fragmented, can increase the productivity and profitable employability in the sector.
A very good question indeed. If we look at the way, like we have small holdings in farming, And if we look at the country at large, different way of agriculture is there. But if we look at the modern technologies, like if you look at Israel, the agriculture sector of Israel, what they are doing, neither they have land, sufficient land, nor the environment, nor the climate, but they are able to produce. What I am trying to say, from the traditional way of agriculture, we have to shift to the modern ways. The Honorable Prime Minister has talked about doubling farmers' income by 2022. We all are thinking how it will happen, if it will happen or not. But I am confident, yes, it can happen. Because agriculture does not mean only having a crop, the yield of that, that's all. Agriculture has a lot of allied areas also which need to be explored. And these areas have not been explored. Fishery, poultry, beekeeping, organic farming, herbal medicines, mushroom farming. So many things are there. They need to be included into agriculture. When I talk about technology, generally what is happening, that integration of the knowledge is not happening much. In agriculture sector, especially when we talk about now we will work on agriculture. We say now we are sending SMS to every farmer about the weather, and now we are tech savvy. I'm sorry, we are not that way. We have to work collectively. We have to see where we can develop clusters, like from banana root and the trunk, you can have wonderful textile. How many of our farmers are working in that direction? Because we have not neither trained anybody nor exposed anybody to that. This has to be seen. And at Shobhit University, we are working in that direction, like different sectors. If I talk to Assam, tomorrow we are having a national webinar where we are talking about fishery, that how to improve that area, how to work in that direction. So that way, integrated approach has to be there. And once that approach will come, the fate of farmers, the earning of farmers, and the future of agriculture will change for sure.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chancellor Kunwar Shekhar Vijayendra ji from Shobhit University. He's a visionary. He's running 2 universities in Northern India. I would like to thank Mr. Atish Chattopadhyay. Has studied with the best of the universities in the country, like Jadavpur University, and he's currently the Vice Chancellor. He took out time today. I would like to thank Ms. Deepa Sridhar today. She came and just kept her views. And on top of everyone, I'd like to thank all the teachers and principals. I think we have got more than 462 people. Everyone will get their certificates also. And thanks to Manila ma'am for that. Thank you, Manila ma'am. Thank you, Chancellor Saab. Thank you, Atish ji. Thank you, Chaudhary Saab. And thanks to all the teachers and all the principals. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.